Right guys, upper body workout. So we've got A1 and A2. A1 is a press up variation. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold the bottom position of a press up. So I need hands only, hands and feet or knees if you're doing it off your knees on the floor. Get as close to the floor as you can and then just hold that isometric position. We're going to go for a 10 to 30 second hold. Now your hands could be up on an elevated surface, you could have your knees on the floor, you could have a combination of any of that. In the demo you'll see me shifting weight from side to side. That makes it harder because you're having to hold all your weight on one hand, well 90% and 80% of your weight on one hand, and then you're shifting it from side to side, so it does make it a little bit harder. So 10 to 30 second hold. Play with the shifting of the body weight if you want, play with the position of the hold if you want. Straight after the hold, you're gonna go into 8 to 12 reps. You could do that loaded if you want, you could kick your feet up onto something, you could go knees to the floor, you could play with tempo. There's loads of ways of making that 8 to 12 hard, if it's not already hard enough, that is. Then we're going to go into a body row. So whether we've been rowing on a towel or we've been rowing on some rings or a TRX or a table, what you're going to do is you're going to try and make that position hard so that you fail in 12 or less reps. So what I would do is I would decide on what classifies as a rep. So for me it's pulling, ending up with my hands touching my ribs, and then going back to that start position. That's what I class as a rep. So as soon as I get to the position where I can't close this distance and get my hands to touch my ribs, that's me failing. What you then do is wait 10 seconds, then go for another 3 reps, wait 10 seconds, go for another 3 reps, and you stop your set when you can no longer reach 3 reps, or you hit 5 extra sets of 3. So that's your A1 and A2. You do those for 4 sets. Moving on to B. So B1 is an overhead hold. So we're gonna go 10 to 30 seconds again, like with the press up. Now that could be a handstand, because that's an overhead hold when we're flipped inverted. You could have weight overhead, so depending on what weight you have available, you might want to extend that hold to maybe 45 seconds, maybe a minute. Straight after you do your overhead hold, whether that be object overhead or handstand, we then go straight into overhead press. So it doesn't have to be the object that you're holding overhead. You could hold something heavier and then switch to something lighter for the reps. You're going to go 8 to 12 reps overhead press. So that's your B1. Your B2 is a single arm row with the same setup as we did for the body row in terms of the reps and sets. So you're going to go single arm row, find a variation that enables you to fail in 12 or less reps. So that might be simply by using a heavy load. It might be playing with tempo, so doing the tempo of each rep really controlled and slow. Decide what that tempo is going to be and try and stick to that. It could be that you use bands, a banded setup somehow to increase the difficulty of the row. You're gonna have to leave that with you depending on what you've got available to make that exercise hard enough so that you fail within 12 reps. Once you fail, you do your 10-second rest, you then push for another 3 reps, you do your 10-second rest, and you go again until you can either no longer hit 3 or you get your 5 extra sets of 3. You do that on both arms. Then you go back to your overhead press. So you do a set of your overhead press, left arm, right arm. That's 1 round, that's 1 set. You do 4 sets in total. Then on to C, we have curls. So you're gonna have to find a curl variation. I like to do both arms at the same time on this one just because it's gonna be very time consuming otherwise. So if possible, do a double arm curl. We're doing the same setup we've done for the other 2 rowing exercises, so use weight or tempo that enable you to fail in around 12. It's not the end of the world if it's 14, but you don't want to be creeping up into the 20s. So try and fail in 12 or less, rest for 10, go for 3, rest for 10, go for 3, try and hit your 5 extra sets of 3. You then move on to your tricep exercise where we're gonna do, so we can either do overhead here, we could do on our backs and do like skull crusher type movement. We could do banded push down type movement, depending on whatever we've got access to. We could do body weight triceps, we've done in a previous workout. So it's gonna vary where you do the hold, but the hold wants to be near lockout. So if you're doing banded push downs, I'm gonna go to the point where I'm almost at lockout, but not quite. So the strain is still on the muscle. Locking it out, you're losing the effort and the work. If you're doing it with dumbbells, you might want to do it in a 90-degree position, in a skull crusher position, or maybe hold it sort of in this type of range overhead. You're going to go 10 to 30 second isometric hold, and then go straight into either this, or you pull down, you push downs, or whatever you're doing. It doesn't have to be the same weight again. So you could isometrically hold a lighter weight and then shift to a heavier weight for the reps, or it could be with the same weight. It's up to you. I'm going to go 8 to 15 reps on the tricep reps. You're then going to do floor Miyagis, so wax on, wax off. So you hold a press up position with something slippy under your hands. It could be carpet sliders, it could be socks, it could be slippy cloths, and you're on a smooth floor. And then you're going to do a circle with one hand, bring it back into that press up position, circle, and then play around with the direction of your circles. So it doesn't always have to be out, it can be in, but you're going to alternate sides for 10 to 16 reps. So that's either 5 to 8 reps each arm. So that's your 3 exercises in section C. And then you're going to do 3 rounds of that. So 4 sets of A, 4 sets of B, 3 sets of C. And here's some demos. Ride through the ghetto, windows down, halfway. Ride through the